Okay, Android settings. There's settings in iPhones. There's settings in Android. And I'm going to go through just a few of the settings. I tried to list all of the settings on one screen, and because there's so many. Notice on the left here how I have my organization. I'll cover this once more, but I have always the camera up here, my Google News always here, my settings is always down near the bottom, my phone, messages, and my browser. But look at all of these settings. I don't believe any human being can remember all of these. And the stars are the ones that I cover. I'm trying to go through and list the page of the settings that I cover. But here's just a text listing of the categories. This is just too much in my mind for a human being to remember. So about the phone, go to settings, scroll down, and it has about, and I'm using a Pixel 7. It will tell you the phone number. It will tell you the model. It will tell you the Android version that you have. This is pretty important. And if you are looking to cut costs by going to, say, Spectrum or to Straight Talk, which is Walmart's phone service, they will ask you for the IMEI. This is like the VIN number on your car. Maybe most people recognize VIN numbers, vehicle identification number. IMEI is the International Mobile Equipment Identity. I am testing Spectrum Mobile, and the first thing they wanted, what's your IMEI? That's in the About section. Now, this is information on the system, the operating system, Android, what information about Android. So here's scrolling down and down to system. System shows up at the top with the arrow going back. And then you look at which version of the operating system do you have. If I touch that, it will tell me that this system is up to date or there's a new version. And I believe Android comes out every 2 months with security updates. So they find something that the programmers forgot to do, and they have to prevent the countries, the Chinese or the Moldovans or the Belarusians from hacking phones. So they have to update it. So periodically, I check this to see if there's an update. Again, system. Network tells you which service providers you're getting. Are you getting, so I'm getting internet from Spectrum, and my Wi-Fi in my home says that I'm connected to Mountain Creek 5 gigahertz. And then I think, I'm not sure, I hit this. Oh, where did I screwed up. How this calls an SMS. I will, maybe it's just clicking on that, the gear. there's more information, and you can turn on Wi-Fi calling, that if you're not getting good cell service and you're in your home and got good Wi-Fi, the telephone calls go over your Wi-Fi. That they will usually tell me to do that. Now I'm going to check that. I go into settings, I go network, and I calls and SMS. Yes. Here's calls and SMS right here. I should put an arrow from over to that. So it's right there. Internet, calls, and SMS. And again, this is version 13. Because there's so many manufacturers, Samsung may be 3 months behind this. Google owns the phone I bought is a Google manufactured phone. So they write for their phones first. They write the Android operating system for their Pixel phones. So I get it first. Here's more information about network. This is how much data that you're using. This is important if you have constraints on the amount of internet you use. If you're with consumer cellular, I think you can buy 5 gigabytes. This is the way that you monitor your 5 gigabytes a month usage. If you go to Canada or to Europe, you can turn roaming on. I would not recommend it because they'll start charging you hundreds of dollars a day. You got to call them first if you go overseas. Call the companies first. Look at all this information. Nobody can remember all this stuff. I just, at night, when I can't sleep, I wake up and look at this stuff. This is another one I use in my phone, in my car, hotspot and tethering. I can turn my phone into an internet sharing device. So if I have passengers in the car, I can turn on hotspot and everybody will see my internet. It will be, the internet name is JPJ Pixel, and they can log into my phone and use my internet. The interesting thing, if you're on a plane flight, you can turn this on and see all the people that have left it on. Here's how you turn it on and off, right up there. Here's the on and off switch. Notice it's in the off position. So by default, I leave it off. So this is networking. This is just the network category. I'll go back a few. Go ahead.
Have you had trouble when you're using your, like a hotspot, like to have people using like iPhones or like an iPad device to connect to your hotspot?
On my Android phones?
Yes.
No, I don't. I have not. I just signed up with Spectrum specifically to test that option. When Maureen is driving, I like to follow where we're going on my iPad. So I will be testing that in the future. But keeping on, because we are somewhat constrained. So again, back to settings. We spent 3 screens just looking at network and internet. That alone, nobody can remember. Let's go down to notifications. And I think this, especially on Android phones, this is important. I just finished a book that's called Stolen Focus, that was That's their money-making option. They want to make money. So they bing all the time trying to get you to do it. And your task to save your presence of mind is to control these, turn these off. So here's notification. Look at all these different settings for notifications. I go down here to device and app notifications. Here's the scrolling down. That's what this means, is scrolling down. Here's what I cover. App notifications. Here, the maps notify me, and I can turn notifications off up here. There's do not disturb. Is you can set that to go on at night automatically. And wireless emergency alerts. We actually go in a class. One of our classes covers that, so I won't discuss that too much. More Android notification details. I gotta rework this a little bit. Notifications. Look at all these things you can do on notifications. And I go into bubbles. You can turn these off. I think you have to leave some of them on. Bubbles, if you'll notice on Android, sometimes there'll be a little blue bubble in the corner of an app. That's a form of notification for that app. Maybe we'll see it. Here's all of the different apps. Notice what cannot give me notifications, not allowed. I've turned all these off, but I think it's booking. I looked on the booking app, which is a travel app. These are all of the different settings that the programmers at booking.com, they wrote the app. This is what they've built into the app. And they'll let you turn these on and off. This is just, it drives me crazy. I won't remember all these. And I don't know what a lot of them mean. Don't know what this one is. Sometimes it will show notifications on the lock screen, which is the first screen when you look at it before you enter the phone, or don't show any. That's, I think, by clicking all of these. The amount of information, do not disturb, wireless emergency. We have a separate course section for this. We'll cover this. And this is important. These are important and can be life-saving. Your own plus some other. I think I got out of order here. This is Android personalization. You can scroll down. Notice here sound and vibrations. Display. Look at all the things you can do with the display. And I turn on dark theme. You'll notice that in some of the slides, the screen capture is black. That's in dark theme. But I found it's easier to read if it's in light theme. Let's display. Here's different, all of these different things that you can turn on. Here's location services. use locations. This is a security item. Google and Facebook are the big ones that want to track you wherever you go. That when you walk, if you're in the mall and you walk in front of a Best Buy wants to know you're there, and they'll throw an advertisement up in front of you. Maureen mentioned this a little bit. When you touch some items on your phone, you get a little feeling in your phone. That is called haptics. Haptics. That's an actual term. Haptics. I think you could probably use it in Scrabble, and you'd get somebody would say, you can't use that. That's not a word, but it is actually a word. So here's all of the different things you can do under sound. So here's do not disturb. You go into a meeting, you're a big executive, and you walk into the meeting, you're leaving the meeting, you want to turn all of the notifications off. Here's where you can do that. Vibration and haptics. You go down the screen. You can turn on vibrations and haptics, where when somebody calls you on your phone, it vibrates. That is called haptics. You can make the vibration strong, or you can make it weak. Now, here's another feature. Vibrate at the beginning and then make the sound louder. All of these, I want to emphasize, you will not remember this from the class. What I would like to have you be able to do is say, I'm going to go look at settings. You got 20 minutes before you're going out. I'm going to look at settings. Here's another one. Battery was a major screen. It can tell how much battery you have left. All of these items. I have battery percentage turned on up here. I don't know what some of these mean. What does adaptive preferences mean? Don't know. Battery share. I think new phones, you can charge one phone off another phone. I believe that's one of the new features that they have. Wallpaper and style. Notice this is dark mode when you see some of this. And you can change you can personalize these things, dark theme, themed icons. I don't know. You can change the number right here. I've got this in a 4x4 grid, the apps. You can change it to a 5x5 grid. Everything's going to get a little smaller, but you can change it. And as I went through and did this, I said, it's nigh on impossible for one person to remember the location of all of these settings. It's nigh on impossible. So what I'm just trying to make you aware of is that it is there. You can personalize the phone to your taste over time. And then you basically leave it alone. People. Okay, another setting that you should be familiar with is the Google setting. And in that, you can tell what email ID is the identifier you're using, how you are identified on your phone. And you can see here, this is how I am identified on this phone. And this will show up repeatedly. All of these different items. Now I'm going to go next into, here's notification for the Google Play Store. People need to be familiar with the Google Play Store. This is the App Store, but these are all of the notifications for the Google Play Store